I would say that award or no award, I would have worked. My uncle, he said, no, she has done masters, that's enough for a girl. Get it out of your minds that physics is a difficult subject.
Welcome to Scientifically Yours. It's a program devoted to women scientists of the country who have contributed significantly to the area of science. They have sought for knowledge, they have increased the horizon of knowledge, and they have contributed to the international pool of scientific knowledge which has been recognized by not only scientists of our country, but have been recognized by the scientific community all over the world. Today, I am very happy to introduce Professor Bimla Buti. Professor, let me begin by asking you a simple question. Why did you do science? You could have done anything.
That's true. I don't think even today I have an answer to that question, except for the fact that right from my childhood, I was extremely interested in mathematics. Okay?
A difficult subject from which normally students run away.
Yes, but again, you may ask me why mathematics? Maybe because my father had done, before his law degree, he had done his master's in mathematics and had received a gold medal and whatnot. Maybe that is what was at the back of my mind. But in any case, right from the childhood, I was very much interested in mathematics. Number one, that is one subject which can bring you 100% of marks.
Okay, that could be one reason.
That could
probably.
be one of the reasons. But basically, I was really interested in mathematics. And having that much interest in mathematics, then the curiosity, looking at different adventures, and sometimes I used to think, how does this work, the lamps work, and why do we get the eclipse and things like that? These were the basic questions. And in my family, there was no scientist. So obviously, these questions could not be answered, right? I had to take some courses.
Was your father your hero?
Yes.
But then he was a lawyer, you could have gone to law.
No, I was not interested in those things. And I said, I had a bent of mind which was academic.
Okay.
Okay. And as I said, he was also partially academic, but then somehow he switched over and went to this. And not only that,
Doing law was a fashion in our
maybe there was a passion, and
in
then,
the country.
But not only that he went over to the law, but later on, as a matter of fact, he did go into politics also. He was a freedom fighter. So his line was completely different.
Your family migrated from Pakistan to India. How deep an impression it left on you, and how did it shape your future?
You see, we used to be in Lahore. And probably Lahore, I was a child at that time. And probably Lahore was the first one when the riots started. And we would be sleeping those days, at least in Lahore, this was a fashion that during summertime, you would go and sleep on the terrace. So all of a sudden, you would start seeing big flames because somebody had put the entire building on fire, okay? So that was creating a lot of troubles. So my father thought it would be better if I send the children away from Lahore.
Oh, so you came to India much before your father came?
No, I did not come to India at that time. In fact, my father thought everything will subside in a few days. So he sent me in the wrong direction. He sent me to Sindh, Karachi, where my elder sister used to be.
Okay.
So, but we never went back to Lahore.
You came directly from
I came
Sindh
along
to
with my sister almost little while before 15th of August when we got the independence. And then we came directly to Delhi.
And how did you continue your education in India?
That was a little problem because there was no choice. So whatever it is that there was some government school, as a matter of fact, I still remember it was in Daryaganj school. So we just went there and
Filled the
got
form
ourselves
and-
registered, and that school had no science, nothing.
Then? And how was the mathematics
No.
there?
Mathematics was okay. I mean, in fact, I was lucky. The teacher in English as well as in mathematics, they were good. Okay, but no science whatsoever.
So how did you continue
So
with science?
I must say started, no question of continuing. I never had any science. So only after passing my matriculation, I started learning science.
Oh, in school you did not study science at
No,
all?
there wasn't. They didn't have any science.
So how did you come to get interested in science after matriculation?
But as I said, I had the desire. So I said, okay, now even if I didn't have anything in science, if the people who are giving me admission, they don't have any objection, I would rather. And fortunately, I got admission. So that's how
I would like to also ask you that physics was said to be the mother of all sciences. That was the fashion in 70s. Do you still believe in it?
Not really, not really. So
You don't believe in hierarchy of sciences?
no,
Not really.
not really.
I have to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be coming back shortly. There's a break now. We'll continue the discussion.
कैसे हुआ आसमान नीला,
पानी को कौन करता गीला,
ये धरती क्यों है गोल,
हमारे जीवन में सूरज का क्या है रोल, हवाई जहाज हवा में कैसे उड़ जाता,
पूरी को कौन है बुलाता,
कौन भरता इंटरनेट में इंफॉर्मेशन,
क्या कभी हवा भी होगी रेशन।
सोचोगे नहीं तो पता कैसे चलेगा विज्ञान प्रसार, ताकि हर निर्णय ज्ञान आधारित हो। विज्ञान प्रसार 850 इंस्टीट्यूशनल एरिया सेक्टर 62 नोएडा। ईमेल info@vigyanprasar.gov.in, वेबसाइट www.vigyanprasar.gov.in।
Welcome back to Scientifically Yours. We are talking to Professor Bimla Buti, who is one of the finest scientists in the country, who has contributed a lot to plasma physics, an area which is extremely difficult, and it has always been considered a difficult area. Professor Bimla, let me ask you, how did you come to this decision that you would be studying plasma physics. What was the turning point in your life?
Well, that way you can say that, in fact, that's what most of the women say, that physics as such is a male subject. I really don't agree there. I mean, anything that you are interested in is equally easy, provided you are really, really interested in that. Okay. But besides that, to answer your question, that how did I decide to go into plasma physics? When I started doing my BSc honors, that was at Delhi University, and MSc also at Delhi University. And at that time, at Delhi University, physics department, particle physics used to be in big fashion, very popular, okay? And I had gone to US, I had gone on Government of India fellowship, so I had a choice about the university that
You must
I
have been
would
very
select.
excited when you got this fellowship. Were you?
In a way, I was, because I didn't have to write to other American universities to get some assistantship or anything. I didn't have to do anything.
You did well and you got the
I
fellowship.
just went for one interview to Ministry of Education here, and in a few days I got a nice letter saying you have been selected.
But going abroad itself was a difficult thing during those periods. So everybody around you must have got very excited that you are going out, or there was opposition to it.
My immediate family was very excited. My father was extremely happy that I would be going to US, and that too on Government of India fellowship. So he was extremely
honor.
happy. But some of my relatives, you have asked a very pertinent question. Some of my relatives, for example, my maternal uncle, Mama, I overheard a conversation between my father and my mama, and my father, since he was so excited that I have got the fellowship, he was telling him that Bimla has got the Government of India fellowship, and in a month or two she would be going to US for doing her PhD. He was excited. But my uncle, he said, no, she has done masters, that's enough for a girl. You shouldn't send her to US.
She should get married, settle down, have
This was the
children.
attitude.
Yes.
And I overheard this conversation, and I was extremely pleased when my father told him, no, she wants to go, and I would never say that she should not go. So he was really, really, I must say, very moderate on this thing. He said, whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it.
How did you get interested in plasma physics?
Plasma physics, okay. Having gone to Chicago, and I'm sure it's the same rule at other universities also, before you start working on your thesis, you have to take a number of courses. In spite of the fact that you have done masters there and taken many courses, there again you have to take some courses. And it so happened that Nobel laureate Professor Chandrasekhar, he got Nobel laureate much later actually. So the very first quarter I took the course which he was giving, and then he was giving an advanced course in quantum mechanics in the second quarter. So I took both the courses, and he was really, really an excellent teacher. After I took these courses with Professor Chandrasekhar, then I decided no particle physics for me.
So that was the beginning of your love with plasma physics.
After having gone to Chicago and after taking the courses with Professor Chandrasekhar, and during that time, these were the aspects that he was working on. So obviously, if I decided to work with him, provided he would accept me, then I would go for that field, and this is how it started.
How do you feel when you look back your life that you have worked with a Nobel laureate called Professor Chandrasekhar?
Well, I'm extremely happy that I had decided to work with him at that time, even though, as I mentioned earlier, that the Nobel Prize he got was much later in 1983. I mean, I'm excited that I worked with a Nobel laureate, but besides that, the type of training that I received from him, I will never forget, never forget.
So doing PhD would have been very hard for you under such a person who was extremely busy, wasn't it?
You see, I believe that anyone who goes for PhD, no matter with whom, has to work very hard. There is no doubt about that. And in fact, to give you a sort of an example, when I moved to Yerkes myself, then the students there, they said, look, Chandra works 18 hours a day. You will have to do the same thing. So I said, well, if he can work, I will also try to work. So I had to work hard, but I believe.
And you kept your words? You worked for 18 hours?
No. Maybe few days or something, but not really. Except for the fact that this was a sort of a tradition at Yerkes that we would go home, have dinner, come back again. So after dinner again we would work. And then anytime 11, 12 we would go back. But I won't say that people were working 18 hours. Even Chandra wouldn't work 18 hours every day. He was really, really hardworking. There's no doubt about that.
We'll continue the discussion. We have to take a break at this moment, but don't go away. We are coming back and finishing off our discussion with one of the best scientists of the country, Professor Bimla Buti.
कैसे हुआ आसमां नीला,
पानी को कौन करता गीला,
ये धरती क्यों है गोल,
हमारे जीवन में सूरज का क्या है रोल, हवाई जहाज हवा में कैसे उड़ जाता,
पूरी को कौन है बुलाता,
कौन भरता इंटरनेट में इंफॉर्मेशन,
क्या कभी हवा भी होगी रेशन,
सोचोगे नहीं तो पता कैसे चलेगा विज्ञान प्रसार, ताकि हर निर्णय ज्ञान आधारित हो। विज्ञान प्रसार A50 Institutional Area Sector 62 Noida. Email info@vigyanprasar.gov.in. Website www.vigyanprasar.gov.in.
Let scientific temper be the basis for building nation. Welcome back to Scientifically Yours. We are today discussing plasma physics and contribution of Dr. Bimla Buti to this fascinating area of physics, which is a very difficult area to work on. She has excelled, and in my opinion, her contribution has been recognized by many bodies across the world. When you came back to India, then you joined IIT. You shifted to PRL. Then you worked with the best labs across the world, including NASA. You worked in Italy. You were director of the lab. PRL itself has been a very prestigious laboratory in the country. Did you face problems being a woman while working in the laboratories or at your various positions?
Frankly speaking, I would say no. And PRL, as a matter of fact, I don't think that was the culture there. Not only me, but other women, not as scientists. And you will be surprised to know that during my stay there, I was the only female scientist on the faculty. Now the number has really gone up, there is no doubt about that. Take an example of Delhi University. Now I think they have more than 50% of girls doing masters or bachelors.
Absolutely. Now, could you explain to the viewers what is this plasma physics all about? How does it relate to common people's life? And whether you really think that you have significantly contributed that has left a better world?
You see, plasma is the word, even though most of the people know blood plasma. But this has nothing to do with blood plasma, except for the fact, I will qualify when I say it has nothing to do. Plasma, one can say, is a fourth state of matter. The gas in its ionized form is what is called the plasma. This is the simplest possible definition of a plasma. And the only relation that it has with blood plasma is that when we want to study the characteristics of plasmas, as a matter of fact, you may be surprised to know that our entire universe, 99% is in the form of plasma. So anything that we want to study in space or here on our earth, for example, if we want to talk of energy problems that we are facing these days, the nuclear energy, then there are two ways you can have the nuclear energy, fission and fusion. So fusion is the synthesis of this. So again, it is the plasma physics, nothing else. So if we want to talk of alternate energy, that is the nuclear energy due to fusion processes, you got to know what plasmas are, how do they behave in the laboratory. The fascinating phenomena of comets.
Right.
Right? Comets usually have two types of, they have longish tails. They have two types of tails. One is where mostly we have a dust. It's called dusty plasma, dust tails. And the other one is elongated one, is where we have the plasma, the gases in the ionized form, the plasma. And there are many observed features in these cometary tails, plasma tails. You will be amazed if I show you. You start seeing in these features helical waves. You see a lot of turbulence there.
And a lot of beauty
Exactly.
in this phenomena.
Then one wonders, how is that happening? And then you have to sit down, write down the basic equations which are valid under those circumstances, try to find out what are the parameters, what sort of waves are possible, what sort of instabilities are possible. See, plasma by nature can have all sorts of instabilities.
Absolutely. Without understanding plasma, you cannot understand the origin of universe
Oh,
itself.
impossible.
That
No
is not
chance.
possible. Would you like to tell today's generation that take the plunge, science is not difficult, physics is not difficult, mathematics is not difficult, you can do it. And even if you are a girl child, you can do it.
Obviously, no question about that. The only thing is you have to have a desire, you have to have a patience to do. Don't expect that I will start it and right away I should get result. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You should have patience, you have to work hard, there is no doubt about that. And once you have decided, what I would suggest, and this is what I have followed, that start from the basic things. Try to do it analytically as far as possible. And when the
build on
stage
it.
comes that analytically no more solution is possible, we are fortunate enough to have big computers now, we can do it numerically.
Now, when you look back, has society recognized your contribution sufficiently? Do you also think that these awards have given you sufficient stimulus to work on, or stimulus was there, these awards came in your way and they are there?
No, I would say that award or no award, I would have worked. Because
Scientists always work for cracking a problem. This has been my position.
that's it. I mean,
that is what excites them.
I mean, the pleasure, the happiness that you get after solving a problem, I can't describe.
Thank you very much, Professor Bimla. It has been a fascinating conversation with you.
Thank you.
What would you like to sign off with, Scientifically Yours? Any statement for the younger generation?
I would say that get it out of your minds that physics is a difficult subject. It's not a difficult subject, and especially to the girls, young girls, go ahead, do it, and you will succeed, except for the fact you will have to put in real hard work.
Thank you very much for joining us on Scientifically Yours. We'll come back with one more fascinating personality next week. Be with us. Goodbye.